Hi, everybody. Earlier today, I sent a message about the importance of using APA as it is going to be a standard formatting that you'll be using throughout your bachelor's program and especially in your master's program when, not if, you move on to a master's program. I know you're all saying, oh my God, I'm not doing that. I really hope that you all do move into a master's program. It's worth every painstaking writing assignment, believe me. I have 2 master's degrees, and I'm so grateful that I got both of them. APA is the gold standard. I'm going to share my screen. On screen. So yes, APA is the gold standard, and I really, really want each and every one of you to buy the manual. It goes into great detail about every single thing you need to know using this formatting as your writing guide. This is what the manual looks like. We're on the 7th edition. I started writing an APA in 1987. Most of you were not yet born. So I've been writing in it for a long time, and I think I started on the 3rd edition. But here we are on the 7th edition. It is not expensive. It comes in many forms. You don't have to get it at Amazon. I'm not plugging Amazon. I just happen to love Amazon. $26 for the e-textbook. You can buy hardcover. I have the spiral bound because I used it so much that one of my APA books, the binder actually cracked, so I had to get another one. But $31.50, we can all afford that. That's a McDonald's dinner for your family, maybe. It's not expensive at all. And you will be using that in every single course that you take in this program. They are all about APA. I would like to go through and highlight just a few things in 5 short minutes about writing an APA for you at this level of your education. There are some very important things. The formatting of your pages, it gives very specific formattings. Your running head, as students, you don't have to have a running head. I like running head. Keep in mind that the words running head only appear on page 1 of your paper, and then they don't. It's just the actual words of the running head. The running head should be very short. The manual defines exactly how long it should be, but just very, very short. You all have this template in your syllabus for this course that you're in right now. You start your page numbers up here. This is a paper that I actually wrote for a doctoral level course. I did start my doctorate, and then I decided I was too old and I didn't want to put myself through that pain again. So this was a nursing theory course incorporating teaching styles into it. So I had to define my own personal teaching philosophy. So this is what the title page looked like, November of 2021. Here's my running head. Here is my introduction, but it's titled the same as my paper. Your introduction should be titled the same as your paper. Let's talk about crediting the work of others. So earlier in my message today, when I said that you need at least 2 references, you can't just plug them in at the end of your document. You have to actually refer to those sources in your paper. For example, the audience being taught is older and driven by consumer values requiring more independence and autonomy. That is not an idea that I came up with. That is an idea that Allen and Withy in 2017 came up with. Keep in mind, this is an old paper, so my sources are probably going to be mostly outdated at this point. When you present ideas that don't originate from your brain and from your creativity, you have to credit the source of those ideas. You have to give credit to the people who came up with those ideas. Here's another one. Today's adult learner is internet savvy, has a shorter attention span, demands instant gratification, despises reading, and is the first generation to never have used a rotary phone. And this comes from a study done by Battle and Tyson in 2018. At the end of the document, you will put the full reference. Here's the Battle and Tyson reference, formatted very specifically. Now, I'll share this story with you. This paper is revised because I turned in references that didn't have any spaces between the initials, and my instructor took off a point for every single time I did that. I had 20 references. I got an 80 on the first draft of this paper. I was pretty devastated because I really liked this paper. Thankfully, she allowed me to revise it and do it again. But she was a pretty strict teacher, actually. Anyway, this is how a reference should go. Okay, they're different if they come from textbooks. They're different if they come from journals. This is a journal reference. So Battle LH and Tyson T, the date that the journal was published, in small letters except for the first word, academic strategies that facilitate learning in millennial nursing students. That's the title of the article. The journal title is iManager's Journal on Nursing, number 8, or volume 8, number 1, pages 1 through 10. Very specific formatting. Once you get it, you'll be able to type it without even looking at the example. This is an example of a textbook formatting. This is a very famous textbook for adult learning theory. And it's called A Taxonomy for Learning, Teaching, and Assessing, a revision of Bloom's Taxonomy of Educational Objectives. And the publisher is Longman. So you don't have to put the city or the state, you just have to put the publisher at the end. That's new for 7th edition. But you see I have the authors listed, and then the date that it was published, the title of the book, and where it was published. If you have journals, it's really, really good to put in a DOI. The DOI allows the reader to click on the DOI. Hopefully this works. It did. I'm verifying that I'm human. And it's going to take you, hopefully, still works, to the journal. So this is the abstract. The abstract is the brief synopsis of the article. When you're doing your research, you don't have to read through every single research article. You just go to the abstract and read the abstract and see if it fits what you're trying to research. That's the DOI. Your paper should be organized with a title page, your introduction, your headers, the main points that you want to address in your paper. And here are my main points, blah, 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 goals. So these points, came directly from the rubric. That's the importance of rubrics. I took the rubric and I wrote down everything that I needed to address. Number 1, I had to address my teaching style and strategies. I had to address my theoretical influences, what theorists influenced the way that I teach. I had to address my goals for my students, and I also had to address some personal goals in here. And then at the end is the conclusion. The conclusion should not have any fresh references or citations in it. The conclusion is simply a 5-sentence synopsis of what you talked about in your paper. And then your reference page. Of note, in parentheses here, these are your in-text citations. These are called in-text citations because they're citations that are located within the text of your work. I hope that this is helpful. APA is a different language. It can take a while to get used to it. But here we are, and you're on probably the beginning of your journey throughout this program. So you'll have plenty of time to practice it. Please do not be afraid to reach out to me with any questions. And keep in mind that APA is located on the rubrics in this program. So I want you to be able to maximize the points that you get on your assignments. Just another comment about your week 1 presentations. I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled about how those presentations came out. I love the fact that they were beautiful, visually appealing. They were very professional. You followed a nice format, a nice outline. You made your points very well. All of you made your points very well. And then at the end, you had a really nice reference list from where you got this information. We'll talk more about citing on slideshows later on. For now, let's just focus on the paper writing. Okay, don't be afraid to reach out with any questions.